Stretch.
For Megan Bishop, motherhood is marvelous. Megan and her husband Derek are the proud parents of Berkeley. And the story of how she got her healthy and happy start is as miraculous as parenthood.
We were blessed that we had her at the time we did, so that this was an option for us.
Megan and Derek grew up miles apart. Derek, a Bryan native, met Megan, a Houston native, at a church camp 10 years ago.
What about love? That was interesting.
The two started a long-distance relationship that grew over time. Megan attended Texas A&M, and their romance blossomed. After graduation, the two married, and then came the decision to have a family.
He's 25 and he didn't want to be an old dad, so.
By the fall, the couple was expecting. The first few exams were perfect, but when Megan and Derek went to find out the sex of their baby, they got some news they weren't expecting.
That's when she told us that the scans had showed that Berkeley had spina bifida.
Google can be a bad thing to look at whenever you're in a situation like that.
You just run all the worst case scenarios through your head when you first find out, and that was what was so consuming, because that's all you can think about.
I freaked out big time and drug her down into the freak out category also with me.
Seeking answers, the couple was referred to the Texas Children's Hospital in Houston. It was there they learned about a surgery that could potentially fix their daughter's spina bifida, but it required a procedure that had only been performed a handful of times.
But if we could do anything to make her have a more normal life or an easier life, then that's what we wanted to do.
To be approved for the procedure, the pregnant mother and her baby had to go through a barrage of tests over a few short weeks.
Each little test that we passed was a small victory in, the path to being approved for surgery. And once we found out we were approved, we were thrilled, really.
The operation would require doctors to operate on Berkeley while still in her mother's womb. It's an operation that had been done at the Texas Children's Hospital a dozen times, but in the back of their minds, the couple knew that the surgery may not be Berkeley's only hurdle.
It's never a guarantee. Like, we can do this surgery and she could still have all the complications that she would have had if we would have waited after birth.
That's where this becomes pretty tricky and pretty difficult.
Dr. Daryl Cass, co-director of the Texas Children's Fetal Center at the Texas Children's Hospital, was part of the team that operated on Megan and Berkeley.
The mother is asleep under a very deep anesthetic. We have to then perform a C-section type incision on the mother to open up her tummy and to expose the uterus. And then we have to open the uterus. This is the pregnant uterus that's filled with amniotic fluid. So we have to open that up and the amniotic fluid will come out, and then we expose this spina bifida deformity in the fetus, and then the neurosurgeons came in and did that repair of that spina bifida defect.
After surgery, it was almost like a relief, like we've done everything we can do, now we'll just leave it to God, and we'll see what we have to face whenever she gets here, and whatever we have to face then we'll face it.
Then, on March 14th, at 9:59 in the morning, baby Berkeley was born. And from the second she arrived, she impressed the doctors.
She came out kicking, which all the doctors were just amazed, and so yeah, we were really excited.
Now at just over a month old, Berkeley is doing great. She continues to show no signs of spina bifida, and that leaves Megan and Derek overjoyed.
Coming home and hearing like a baby, and then you're like, hey, was there a baby here? And then you're like, oh yeah, that's my baby.
It's wonderful. I'm so glad she's finally here and I'm not pregnant anymore. And I love being with her. She's wonderful.
Much like their life together, Berkeley's entrance into Megan and Derek's lives has been a whirlwind adventure. And a mother's love couldn't keep her from taking every step possible to protect her baby.
It was a long road, but it was definitely well worth it. I would do it over again in a heartbeat.
In Bryan, Shane McAuliffe, News 3.